We're here on the Fintorn, a rapid by Untitled Church, and we've got a lovely flow here. And what I want to look at is a progressive ferry glide exercise. I'm going to start easy and build it up. One of the key things with the ferry glide is when you go and do this, try and maintain all the strokes as forward power strokes. That way you keep a lot more control over your position in the river. So at this stage, the three variables we're going to play with is going to be power to the blade, so how much I pull, the angle of the boat relative to the upstream or the downstream flow. So if upstream is 12 o'clock, when I'm going across to the river right bank, I want to be pointing my boat roughly about 11 o'clock. Coming back the way, I'll be pointing my boat roughly about 1 o'clock relative to the flow straight down the river. The third thing to think about going over there is being prepared to commit a little bit more edge when required. A lot of the time the boat will be flat, but as the wave pushes me around and the river changes, I'll be adjusting my edge ever so slightly. And generally I'll be edging with my top edge upstream and my downstream edge will be dropped. Right, I'm at the tail of this rapids and there's a little bit less energy here. So the ferry glide should be really straightforward. And at the moment I'm going to edge my way out, quite gentle on the power, and the angle's about, actually it's a bit more open at about 10 o'clock. And there I've made it across. I'm going to come back the way. And once again, I think the angle now is going to be a bit beyond 1 o'clock. I'm going to be more like 2 o'clock. And there we've made it really steady to this side. I'm going to do one more and just notice how all my forward strokes keep going forwards. They're very positive. The corrections are by paddling forwards. And back again. Sometimes I miss half a stroke because I don't need it. I'm just balancing the forces. Just drop down a bit. Last one is just look at the edge. Am I using much edge on the boat? Little bit edge, if anything, to the left. And let's go back the way. I'm going to do a higher angle, go to 1. And into the eddy. I'm going to go in a bit more flow. And here I'm actually going to look at the river features. And there's actually a bit of a dip in the wave. And that will help my ferry glide. So I'm going to try and position the boat, squeeze the bow in, and then go across in the trough. Almost surf myself across. So I'm going to use this bit of feature here. And I'm anticipating, because of the flow, there might be a little bit of a stall in the middle, where there's a bit of slower moving water. So I'm thinking about my power. Let's go back again. So if you fail, or not fail, you don't make it, come back again and do it again. Just didn't quite get on the wave. And I think actually what I need to do is actually get a little bit higher in the eddy. So let's do that. And then you'll see how easy it is. That's better. So as soon as you get in the sweet spot, it makes it easy. And now I'm going to use the same trough, which is just opposite me, to make my way back again. A bit more power required. See, they're all forward strokes. You would have noticed the boat was quite level there, not much edge. But the angle and the power delivery were critical. Let's do that one more time. Just for me, with any exercise like this, you've got to give yourself time to get the feel for the river, the feel for the wave, the feel for how the current's behaving. And the more you do this, the more you'll get smoother at the crossing. Get to interpret the river easier. Look at that. That last one was bob on. I'm just going to do a crossing out here. And let's see, I'm going to point quite high upstream, see the behaviour of the boat. So look, I'm pointing upstream, I've lost my angle a bit, but I'm surfing. A quick right stroke gets me going again. Let's try that back the way. So there we are, I've just stalled a bit. Oh, got to go the other way. Sometimes you're not going to beat the river. So as they say, go with the flow. Let's try that again. So I'm now going to ferry glide at the top of the rapid, and there's a lot more energy here, and there's a bit of a different wave shape going on. There's a wave pushing back this way, and there's a wave going away the other way. So if I get my angle too fine, there's a good chance I'll bounce back. First thing I need to do though is get a bit of speed to get in there. So let's come back to the eddy. Let's try another one. See if I can just demonstrate that again on the lower part of the wave. So I'm coming in, but I've let the boat change because my angle wasn't enough, so it spat me back out. This time I'm going to keep the angle more open. I've got a reference point of a rock on the opposite side of the river. That time I didn't have enough speed. So now I've got to need good angle, good speed, and hopefully it'll work. Angle's good, speed's good. And there we're into the eddy. Coming back again, I'm going to use this initial wave as a bit of a feature. Slide into the trough, ferry glide across. Ferry gliding is a really good skill just to practice because you get a lot of benefit out of it. You learn how to manage the power of the river and how to use that power of the river and the features on the river. It's also a really good skill to have if you're in tighter situations where you need to manoeuvre to a better position to get a better line of sight down the river or to get a better line to paddle down the river. It's also a good skill to have in any safety and rescue situation where there may be somebody on the opposite side of the river that you need to get to and look after. So a good skill to practice, a lot of benefits that come out of it, and it can be great fun. I'm off to do some more. Let's have a quick recap of the ferry glide then. There's some key areas to think about when you're doing a ferry glide. One would be the angle that you set your boat at, and that can vary depending on the power of the flow. The second thing you want to think about is how much power you're delivering through the blade. and you want to make that power forward strokes and really try and avoid anything that is stalling the boat. The third thing you want to may play with is your edge and the amount of degree of edge that you need. That final thing, the edge, can be dictated by the fourth element that you can use, which is the river shapes, the shape of the water on the river. So if you've got a trough, you can ferry glide across in that trough, like it's like surfing across the face of the wave. And in that case, you might need a little bit more edge. So those four things, those four variables, go out and try adapting them and seeing if that works for your ferry gliding. If you want a goal for practicing ferry gliding, it's a good idea to think about trying to minimise the effort required to do it. So that's, if you're minimising the effort, that's the power through the paddle. You'll be maximising the boat angle and the speed with which you approach the ferry glide, and also the way you use the features. So you could end up doing a ferry glide when for a major part of it you're not actually having to do very much because you've got everything just spot on. To progress on from the forward ferry gliding, you could challenge yourself with some reverse ferry gliding. Same principles apply, and what I would add to that is that I tend to do slightly wider sweeping strokes in reverse. That gives me a bit more stability and a bit more control.